Welcome back to Geek'd Up. Joe DeLeone, Sean Anderson. Today, we're going to be talking about the Atlanta Falcons' wonderful quarterback battle, the team that Sean roots for. It'll be really exciting and very happy segment that'll be coming up for us later on the show. We've also got MLB picks for today. If you haven't done so already, please do us a favor, hit subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on daily content. The subs, they keep coming up since we switched to the daily format. People seem to really be excited about all the picks we're putting out there. People loved the preseason predictions, the college football predictions as well. We're fired up that you're fired up, so make sure you're subscribed and you're not just one of those floating watchers that comes back when it shows up in the feed. Also, go on over to thesportsgeek.com so you don't miss out on our Beat the Geek contest. If you sign up for free, you get weekly prizes if you have the most correct picks. And also, you can win an NFL trip for two as that grand prize. If you think you can do better than the AI Geek bot that we go toe-to-toe with on the show here every single week. Sean, so you and I both agree that it's generally lame to do well, I just drafted my fantasy football team, so I'm gonna read every single player that I have. I hate it when people do that to me in public, especially when I tell them what I do for work. It makes me roll my eyes. But I did a draft last night, and one of my buddies in my league drafted quite possibly one of the worst teams that I have ever witnessed. I was watching this guy draft. Can I read off his team, or will you allow that for me?
I'm saying that this is the only interesting spin possible for hearing somebody's unsolicited fantasy team.
So a couple of key pieces of information here with this guy. So this isn't like the random late floater in the league who's on the back end, who's not really paying attention. We got guys like that in the league. We got two guys like that. One of them performs well, but always drafts kind of weird. Mm-hmm. He keeps an eye on what's happening. One of them doesn't, and he sucks. This guy, and this is Kyle. You've met Kyle before. Kyle's the most vocal person in our fantasy league and in our chat. On game days, he's talking crap to everybody. He's performed quite well, except for last year was his first year in the losers bracket. And he's also berating me about making sure everything's set up on time, making sure rules are held, to a specific degree. He's very obnoxious. Very obnoxious. He's also the architect of the McDonald's challenge, and he's the one who created it. So he's very involved. He knows what's going on, but this has to be one of... I texted the chat in the middle. I'm like, you have to be doing a bit. There's no way that this is your legitimate thoughts and your approach. The first thing he did before I start reading these, he drafted 3 straight running backs with his first 3 picks. Okay. That was already a non-starter, which was a problem. But this is his current projected lineup. Trevor Lawrence, Saquon Barkley, that's a starting quarterback. Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson, Rome Odunze, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Kenneth Walker, we don't care about defense or kicker, Rico Dowdle, Marvin Harrison Jr., who he drafted early, RJ Harvey, Baker Mayfield, Kenyon Sadiq, Brian Thomas Jr., and Jamison Williams. It's like he was doing a bit let me collect as many guys that have the most amount of concerns as possible. He claims it wasn't a bit.
That's a bad team. Bijan, so he had with the 1-1 or the 1-2 pick. He takes Bijan. Saquon's a fine pick. Trevor Lawrence is a bag of wet hair. He's awful. He's awful in fantasy. He's bad in real. He's decent in real life. Let me ease up on that. We haven't even seen him play yet this year. Terrible fantasy quarterback. Dallas Goedert is getting old and is not a reliable tight end. Who's he taking in the 3rd and 4th round if he's doing that? And I'm thinking of the running back situation. I like RJ Harvey, but I do not like Rico Dowdle being drafted on the team. Are you joking? I like J-Mo. Devontae Smith's okay. He doesn't have a wide receiver 1. He doesn't have one real fantasy wide receiver 1. Between Devontae Smith, Marvin Harrison Jr., Brian Thomas Jr., and J-Mo, those are all fantasy wide receiver 2s. And I'm already getting sick of everyone saying Devontae Smith's a wide receiver 1 in the league.
So this was the order of his picks. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. This was the order. He took Bijan, Saquon, Kenneth Walker, Devontae Smith, Rome Odunze, Jamison Williams, Marvin Harrison Jr., Brian Thomas Jr., Trevor Lawrence.
I do not understand the Odunze pick. I like Odunze, and I root for Rome Odunze. I got Luther Burden,
by the way. I picked him after he took Odunze.
Better pick. You have a better pick there with Luther Burden instead of Rome Odunze. Someone I root for, but am staying away from in fantasy. He's so streaky. God, this guy's a moron.
But that's the weird thing is, like, I wonder where the one guy in my league, Malcolm, who sucks, who he's always in the losers bracket. He's always like,
yeah. Let me hear
away.
Malcolm's team here. Let me see. Can we pull up Malcolm's team?
Oh, God, it's hard.
I'm interested in this league.
Half the team names have my name in it, which is really frustrating. So I'm trying to figure out who is who.
Oh.
Wait, where are? I gotta freaking figure this out. Who is it? Is it? I don't know. No, it's not that. Some of these names I also can't read. No. Who is it? Where is this person teamed?
What is it, like Impeach Joe? DeLeone out
No.
2026? What do we got?
God, I can't read half of these. Which one is it?
Well, do you like your team at least?
It's Kuven BBL. That's the Kuven's the name of somebody in my league. Wait, so this was the order of Kuven BBL's picks. He had the 9th pick. CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Garrett Wilson, Josh Jacobs, Tyler Warren. That's actually not a bad team. Jane Daniels, Bashal Tootin.
Ew.
Man, he should have.
Why do you go three straight wide receivers? He had me with CD and Jettas, and then
He should name his
Garrett
team
Wilson.
name. I'm the shit. I'm Tootin. That's what his team name should be. No, you don't like that one.
Thanks everybody for coming to the tuning in today. Beat the Geek contest. You can sign up at the Sports Geek. We will catch you Friday.
Wait. Just to finish reading his, Bashal Tootin, Parker Washington, Brock Purdy, Matthew Stafford, Kyle Monangai. His bench kind of sucks. Ja'Cory Krosky, Merritt, Dalton Kincaid, Hunter Henry, Ravens defense, Jason Myers.
Okay.
It's probably the second worst team in the league.
It's better than the last one. That is a better team than the last team. I don't even like Josh Jacobs this year, by the way. Do not like him.
He's going to be suspended.
That's right.
He's probably going to be suspended.
That's a bad team, man. 3 straight wide receivers versus 3 straight running backs. How about you just draft one of each like a normal person?
Well, or do what I did. I did 2 receivers and a running back. That was my approach because I think that there's always a premium. It's always smarter to go with receivers because there's a less of a chance that a receiver gets hurt. So instead of trying to replace the production of a high-end running back, if that guy goes down with an injury, you're trying to replace a mid-level running back with hopefully whoever his replacement is in the actual backfield.
The teams that always get laughed at in the draft are the teams that draft a really good tight end in the second round, and those are the teams that make the playoffs. I can't stand fantasy discourse because it's so receiver and running back slanted. Good quarterback, you make the playoffs. Good tight end, you're basically in the championship. I can't wait to draft a good tight end this year. I'll draft. I think I have like the 9th pick or the 10th pick. I'm drafting Bowers, and maybe it's the 6th. I'm drafting Bowers in the 2nd round. I don't care. I'm picking.
I almost did that. I ended up also almost taking Tyler Warren. I actually took Colston Loveland, so I'm pretty
happy with
fired
that.
up about that. Yeah. All right, we got MLB picks that we got to get to. Sean and I both pooped our pants yesterday. We both went 0-2 on our picks, which is absolutely disgusting and awful. Trying to get back up. Sean's still up at 53% on his picks. If you haven't noticed, by the way, Sean, I put together a doc that more effectively tracks our percentages and whatnot. It's at the very top of the document.
I'm glad you're tracking your percentages so we don't have any number issues with you.
Yeah, there won't be any more number issues. My first pick, I didn't like any of the overs on strikeouts. I also didn't like any of the no-run first innings. So I'm going with 2 under on strikeouts. And we've got a matchup between Yamamoto and Chris Sale where they have ridiculously high totals. And I'm kind of hoping here that the batters prevail, even though this has been a narrow and highly contested series. This has been awesome. This has been like a playoff series that we've gotten some exposure to. But I'm going to go to Yamamoto under 6.5 strikeouts versus the Braves. Braves are 12th in the MLB in terms of striking out. And in the last 15 games, this one I feel pretty strongly about that this is going to hit. Yamamoto's 47% to the under when his line is at 6.5. He's so good that it's hard for him to hit this total. And he's at 48% on the year.
I like it, man. The Braves-Dodgers series is not mess around baseball at the end of August. These two teams are actually battling. It's been a great little series before the postseason starts. I like the unders also. I think batters are trying to put the ball in play. They're not swinging for the long ball. They're not just settling for the strikeout, which is just a regular season. It feels like very regular season where it's just let me swing for the fence. Over this span of 162 games, it'll reward more runs. But in the micro, I hate it. And in the micro right here, I think both teams are still trying to just put the ball in play. I like the under bet, Joe. My first pick, Dodgers money line versus the Braves. You get that at plus 103. I love a Dodgers as an underdog. Atlanta, in this series that I was just discussing, has won 2 straight games in very close fashion, including a Ha-Sung Kim walk-off last night. If they sweep the Dodgers, we have a wide-open playoff field in the NL, in my opinion. There's no way that I think the Dodgers get swept by the Atlanta Braves this late in the season. So this is a consequences pick for me. I think that the Dodgers have enough to not get swept. I think they're a talented team to acknowledge that this is basically a playoff series before the playoffs against Atlanta. So I'm willing to take the risk on the Dodgers in Atlanta winning 1 out of their 3 versus the Braves.
Okay. I think that's good logic. Plus odds for Dodgers almost feels insane. That's even a possibility, and they're going to get right back to being aggressive favorites in every single game as soon as the playoffs start, I'm sure. I'm going with Chris Sale, as I alluded to earlier, under 7.5 strikeouts. This total is insanely high. Now, the one thing that makes me a little bit off about this, and hence why his total is so high, he's 4 of his last 5 when he's at 7.5 strikeouts, which makes me a little iffy. But the Dodgers are 6th in the MLB against strikeouts, so they're really good at not striking out. Sale's 43% on the year when it comes to hitting 7.5 strikeouts. So I feel good in that regard that we're going to be able to hit the under.
I think it's a fine pick. Also, with baseball, I think that the betting gods reward you if you don't get stale. So if you keep bopping around looking for a line that you have an advantage in, it will reward you eventually. So, if you pick the spread, a favorite spread every single night, eventually baseball gods will say, hey, dummy, we gave you enough of that. Good luck. You're done for now. So I like that you are finding different avenues to go down. Speaking of dummies just picking spreads, that's me. Brewers giving 1.5 to the Mets. Hate the Mets. The Mets are frustrating at this point in the season. They're playing like they're in the postseason. They don't need to. They got beaten up pretty bad last night, though. Giving 1.5 to a bad team with Jacob Misiorowski on the mound should be a nice little hit. This should be a nice little hit. Jacob Misiorowski, Cy Young favorite, versus Sean Manaea. Yeah, we're going with the Miz. Where he's going to dominate the Mets. I think his over-under strikeouts was like 9 in this game. 9 or 9.5. I did not want to take the over or the under in that because that is just arrogant on all phases. But I do think the Brewers are going to beat the Mets. Beat them by 2. Come on. Don't Cleveland to this thing for me. Just win by 2 versus an atrocious ball team. Is that too much to ask, Joe?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
it is 100%
of course it
too
is.
much to ask. What are you talking about over here? We do a sports betting show. Everything's
right.
too much to ask for. What are you talking about? You know our pick record. Although, hey, actually, you know what? I'm not going to say that. Time the hell out, man. I've been hitting on these preseason picks that I've been putting out there. Dude, I need some football to kick off, man. I don't mind betting on baseball, but we're just pushing money around during the offseason to just kind of feel something. I need some damn real football to kick off, which we have tonight. There is actual FCS games. Maine versus Towson is going to feel like we're watching the 2006 Rose Bowl. That's all that's going to matter to
awesome.
me. That's on Prime Video, which is also pretty cool. All right, we got a little NFL that we want to get to. Sean, the Atlanta Falcons quarterback situation is turning into a mess. I don't think it's been covered enough how bad this Falcons quarterback situation looks. Tua hasn't exactly taken a hold of a very easy layup opportunity for him to be the starter for this team. Yeah, really. It was expected that he was just going to be the starter when they signed him in free agency, that this was going to be some sort of a Daniel Jones type of a circumstance, that he'd sign the 1-year deal and he'd step right in and he would end up taking over and Penix would sit on the bench. But somehow Tua has found a way to lose a one-man quarterback battle because Penix has not been available for 11-on-11 work. He hasn't officially lost the battle, but because Penix has not been out there and what has been referred to as trepidation from Steve Weish about naming Tua the starter, this is still open. Now, Penix did return to 11-on-11 work on August 22nd. He's starting to get into the mix. He's not going to play on Friday, which complicates things further. Tua will play, as well as Cooper Rush and then Jack Strand.
Yeah.
Falcons at plus 400 to win the NFC South. What do you make of this situation? Do you think that the Falcons should just save everybody the pain of having to watch this dude play quarterback? Or do you think that there maybe is something to be salvaged with Michael Penix?
Michael Penix salvage possibility is the only possible route that I think Atlanta can go this season. Do you remember thin Tua, Joe? Remember how good thin Tua was? Skinny Tua, kind of mobile in the pocket, kind of lean, looked a little dangerous. That was a good quarterback. That thin Tua guy was a good quarterback. He could layer a good pass. His timing was on. He looked focused. He looked like a locked-in quarterback. And then you gave him passes because he gave him passes for him being a short lefty that gets phased easily. He looked like an NFL quarterback. This dude playing in Atlanta right now, this Tubba Lard playing quarterback that just looks thick and slow with a weak arm, no forgiveness, no passes given in Atlanta. And good for the Falcons saying just because Michael is being a little careful with his knee and the doctors don't want us to rush him back out there, that doesn't mean we're just going to name an awful quarterback the starter of this franchise. Good for the Falcons not doing that. That takes stones. And honestly, Tua looks like he couldn't care less. Like, yeah, I'll play backup. I'll play starter. It feels like, Joe, that Tua Tagovailoa saw all these other reclamation projects at quarterback, right? He saw everybody else bounce back, and he thought, wow, that must have just happened for him out of thin air. They didn't have to work to get better. They didn't have to show that they were improving or make the most of their moments. It just happened, like turning on a light. So that seems to have been his approach in Atlanta this year so far. It's been horrid. So, honestly, it should be Michael's job to keep and not lose to Tua. And then it should be Jack Strand, and then Cooper Rush, and then Tua maybe. Make the cut day decision between Rush and Tua, honest to God.
They legitimately put themselves in an awful situation by bringing Tua in.
Yeah.
Because to a degree, it almost forces them at some point to give him an opportunity. And there's nothing that he's done over the past couple of years that has indicated that he is a starting quarterback that can lead your team to success. If anything, the most that he's proved since that insane 2023 season where he was unbelievable. He still threw a lot of picks that year, but he still had 4,000 yards and 29 touchdowns. 2024 and 2025, with the lack of consistent availability and the amount of turnovers that he especially had last year, he has looked more like a Jacoby Brissett, Gardner Minshew, one of these step-in backups that if you have a consistently dinged-up quarterback or you've got a young quarterback, a contingency plan. That's what he's looked like. But that's not how it's been depicted when he came in. He was depicted as, this is a guy who was a former first-round pick who needs, as you stated, he needs the reclamation opportunity to bounce back. He's in a system that fits his skill set perfectly. They're going to run the ball a lot. It's going to get him on the move. A lot of not simple, but easier completions. Nothing super deep downfield, it seems like, with what Stefanski liked to run with all the play action that he was setting up with. And all we've seen from Tua is a really bad preseason game and an embarrassing viral clip against the Colts. The guy just does not look startable. And I think, to your point, I think you should take it a step further. I don't think he should be the backup. I think Cooper Rush should get canned. I think that you should go into the season with Michael Penix as the starter, even if Michael doesn't seem like there's much separation between him and Tua, or if there's not enough evidence to really make that decision. At least you have the crutch of saying, well, he's in his third season and he's coming off of an injury.
Yeah.
We want to get him some reps and allow for him to develop, because the ceiling with Penix call it what it is, it's much higher. He's got a much more live arm. And when he's been in rhythm and he's been hot, he's had some decent games. You've seen flashes with some big throws from him. It's just he hasn't had the experience built up from playing enough because he has been hurt. I think you got to give Penix the chance to start. And then I think Jack Strand has been better than Tua. I don't think that's
Agreed.
an absurd thing to say.
I can't stand, Joe, when the status quo in the NFL happens. I can't stand it. And that being when Atlanta signed Tua, my phone exploded. It literally, the notification from Shefty, beep, beep, Falcons are signing Tua Tagovailoa. And then 2 seconds later, poof, phones exploded. Everybody that I know is texting me, mocking me out. And I had to sit there with a brave face and say, hey, look, I know it's not great, but let's see what happens. And now we're not even to week 1 of the NFL season, and I've already punched out. And everybody that texted me making fun of the Tua signing is right. You know how irritating that is? That this was just like a not even, it didn't even have a chance of being a positive surprise. Like there was no opportunity. Tua Tagovailoa gave zero opportunity for any Falcons supporter, fan, or someone that even covers the team professionally to be objective and positive about him. Like, there was no storyline this offseason where somebody's like, hey, you know, watch out for this guy. I know you guys took your shots, but watch out for Tua. There was none of that. That's a disgusting, that means he had a gross, bad offseason because every NFL team wants to have good PR going into the season. This team, all-time bad vibes here, Joe. All time. This is an ugly season coming for the Atlanta Falcons.
The thing that's really frustrating about this too is that you're not like in a situation where you're like the Cardinals, for example, where you're in a clear reset spot and you had the young quarterback and there's really not a whole lot around him. So you're navigating first year coach. Stefanski might have taken what was depicted as one of the best jobs. It might be one of the worst jobs.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say this to you, and I know that
like
you and I disagreed on this because it's arguably worse for him to step into a circumstance with a team that has Drake London, Bijan Robinson, and Kyle Pitts. When you have those 3 elite players, the expectation is your offense, if it's not a top 10 offense, with those 3 guys and the contracts that you gave them, it's a failure.
Yep.
That's not a ridiculously high threshold. That's not hyperbolic. If you don't have a top 10 offense with those elite players, your team is a failure. And to not have a settled quarterback situation and have to navigate these murky waters, it's damn near impossible. There's nothing worse than having resources, but not the right resources to actually find success and to win. Because then you're just constantly strapping duct tape to the bottom of the boat while it's sinking. Sucking and being bad is one of the best things for a franchise. And the Falcons haven't done it. This is the Falcons and the Steelers. No, but I'm saying since Matt Ryan, you've kind of toiled with a little bit around 500. You haven't had the first overall pick. It's the same damn thing. The Falcons and the Steelers, since their quarterbacks retired, they have fought endlessly to stay relevant and to stay competitive when they're not. They don't think that they are. Like, they think that they're capable of being competitive, but they're not actually. It's like thinking, it's like being like obese and thinking like I just need to lose 5 pounds and I'll be good. And then you just go about your life for the next
Sean
year.
Anderson?
Okay, this isn't about you, but as somebody who used to be really fat, I convinced myself, I'm like, I just need to lose 10 pounds and I'll be in really good shape. And then you think that that's enough. But the reality is that when you lose the 30 pounds, you understand like, that was the weight that I actually needed to shed in order to start from scratch to actually build up from. So I don't know, man. This Falcons situation is depressing the hell out of me. I
want Desmond Ridder back.
I can't see. That's how I know something's wrong.
No. Dude, I'm in a bad spot. I said on Big Smoke Radio that this is the most pre-depressed I've ever been going into a season. Like, I had a real open my heart moment after that Tua clip versus the Colts in practice, where I'm like, this is actually going to be another bad year for me because I'm a worse person when this team is worse overall. All of every aspect of my life gets worse when this team is bad. and they've been bad for a while, and I've been bad for a while. So there is an obvious correlation between the two. I cannot handle this team. Like, I might punch out, Joe. Like, this might be the first year in a while where I actually am punched out of being a true diehard.
That was, I'm trying to remember which year it was. Oh, was it the 2021 season? There was one season. No, it was 20.
We had Mariota.
It was year 3 with Dayball, but how long had Dave? I think. Wait.
Yeah, when did you get broken?
Giant. Well, now I'm back up, and I have all this this belief that we're gonna be good.
Yeah, that's tough. You setting yourself up on the tee like that.
Yeah, and I know that's not actually gonna work out. I want to say it was because 2022 is the year that the Giants went to the playoffs. I want to say it was 2021 with Joe Judge. I think was the year that I'm thinking of because like everything's kind of just blended together. 2021 was when I officially checked out, and then 2024 was also up there as well.
Yeah,
where the whole year I was just like, I'm just gonna watch all these other teams. Like I can right. Actually, it's kind of freeing where you could just
that's exactly yes
go into and just watch football, and it's like oh the Giants are also playing. I'll have that on my phone, like on the side.
Right.
I'm not gonna watch this game because I am gonna generate zero reaction. Yeah, it was 2021 with Joe Judge, and then 2024 when the Giants went 3-14, but somehow still missed out on being able to pick Drake May, Jaden Daniels, and Caleb Williams. Yeah, that one was fun. There's other words when you mentally check out because you're thinking like, I can start getting locked back in when the quarterback race happens, and then you start watching the final kind of weeks of the season with all the other teams in the race. You're like, no. Can we not? Why are we winning this game against the Colts? Why are we beating the Colts right now? This is not important. And then you're out of the mix for Cam Ward as well. It's like what the F?
That makes me feel better, man. It really does. Hearing.
At least you got 9 quarterbacks to pick from. You're welcome.
I want Strand so bad. I want Strand to be the man so bad. That'd be so awesome if you just found a dude.
What if he's Brock Purdy? That actually could be nuts.
You know what? He's not Brock Purdy because he's big and fast also. You know, he's a big hulking quarterback. I love it. I love that he's not just like a gimmicky guy that tricks you in the preseason. Like, he looks like an NFL quarterback. That makes me in.
All right, everybody. Do us a favor. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button on this video. And go check out the Beat the Geek contest at thesportsgeek.com. We'll talk to you later.